you're watching this, please hear me. If you're out there and you have been victimized, you are not alone. There is a great strength in numbers. You can seek redress. You can obtain justice. We can help you, and we will help. That being said, as stated, we are vetting every call that we received. We have had to turn away some. For each, we ask for corroboration. For each, we ask for the identity of witnesses. We also have collected pictures, videos, texts. We check venues, we check dates. We want to corroborate that the claims being made have legitimacy and merit. We have on staff now a former detective from the Major Offenders Unit of Houston Police Department who is helping us vet each claim. We're using our common sense. We're being stringent because, as I said, these are not easy cases. They're very tough. The process is hard, and in some cases, the process is very lengthy. These cases are hard to prove. Many times, it's the victim's word against the alleged perpetrator. Each of these victims will no doubt be publicly attacked by the alleged perpetrators, and in some cases, the general public. The feckless and cowardly keyboard warriors love to attack. We know what we're up against. We did not enter this fray blindly. I wish it was my last such fray. I wish this type of behavior wasn't so pervasive, but it is what it is, so we will press on. As I said, our law firms have been retained by 120 individuals at this point to pursue cases in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs. You should know, in this group, it is evenly divided between males and females. There are 60 males and 60 females who have joined us to pursue these claims as plaintiffs. In this group, 62% identify as African American, 30% are white, and the remainder are Hispanic or Asian. The victims are from more than 25 states. Majority are from California, New York, Georgia, and Florida. I want to focus on the ages of these victims. When you talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred, it's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors. We have one, it's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of. The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way to this year, 2024. If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years of this type of conduct. Now, although most of the victims who have stepped forward were victimized after 2015, this has been going on for a very long time. Now, when you think about the fact that some of this conduct occurred 25 years ago, and you wonder why would it take somebody so long to step forward, I want to remind you that many states in the United States have recognized that it's very difficult for a victim to step forward and to make these types of allegations when something very terrible has happened. I'll use New York, the state of New York as an example. The state of New York has specific statutes in place that revive claims that are even claims that would typically be not able to be brought, that revive such claims, and they can be brought even 25 to 30 years later. Because there's a recognition there, New York and California and other states, that it's very difficult for a victim to come forward. I would respectfully suggest the only reason many of these people are coming forward because they see other victims come forward. It gives them some comfort that, hey, I won't be the only one. And I expect more victims will come forward. An old saying says, a lie has great speed, but truth has endurance. The acts complained of in these cases that we're going to file occurred primarily in New York, either Manhattan or the Hamptons, or occurred in California, primarily in Los Angeles, or in Florida, primarily in Miami. Most of these events, the incidents occurred at parties, typically after parties, or album release parties, New Year's Eve parties, 4th of July parties, something they call a puppy party, all white party, although several of these events occurred at auditions. Many times, especially young people wanting to break into the industry, were coerced into this type of conduct. The promise of being made a star, or the promise of having Sean Combs listen to their tape or even let them read for Sean Combs. You should know that some of this behavior occurred at well-known venues in New York City. Some of this behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know. Some of this behavior occurred at hotels that we're all familiar with. You should know that more than 55% of the victims filed reports reporting this conduct to either the authorities, that is the police, or to hospitals. We're in the process of collecting with our team assistants, medical records, reports that were made to the authorities. And I've already said that some of the individuals in this group did in fact talk to the FBI. You should know that several of the individuals, when I say several, I mean many, who did in fact seek medical treatment, were drug tested, and drugs were found in their system, weird drugs that you probably never heard of. One in particular that continues to pop up is a drug called xylazine, or trank, which, based on our research, is known as a horse tranquilizer. Now, been a lot of reports that we're filing a class action. This is not a class action. Class action is when one or two people file a case on behalf of a group of people. That's not this. These cases will be individual cases. Each case will live and die on its own merit. These cases will be filed individually, one plaintiff against whoever the defendants were involved in the case. Each case may be filed in one venue like California, another case may be filed in New York. One case may sue just Sean Combs, but multiple other people. One case may sue a range of people. I would expect most of those to be filed, as I said, in New York and Los Angeles. Now, I know this. Many of you came here thinking or hoping, perhaps believing, that I may start naming names. That day will come, but it won't be today. The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs. There's a lot of names. It's a long list already. Of course, I already know who some of these individuals are. Because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are. I call them the facilitators of foul play, willing participants in vile conduct. As we identify them, each will be part of this case as defendants. These defendants will not only include individuals, but also include corporate entities who ultimately profited off of this culture and behavior. I'm looking at banks, pharmaceutical companies, hotels. We know that many of these individuals were paid cash. We know that many of these individuals involved, whether they were the ones being assaulted and abused, or they're witnessing other people being assaulted and abused and then paid and threatened and told to leave. Typically paid 10 grand in cash and told to leave. And then threatened as they were leaving. So in addition to Sean Combs, You should know the defendants in these cases we're going to file will include anyone, of course, who engaged in the assault or exploitation, anyone who participated in such in any way, anyone who encouraged or facilitated this conduct, anyone who was in the room and watched it happen but made no effort to stop it, any venue or venue owner who was aware of what was going on but failed to stop it, any individual or entity who knew about the conduct and benefited from it but did nothing to report it or stop it, any individual or entity who covered it up or helped cover it up. These people who know who they are should just come forward now. I would imagine, as we speak here, there are a myriad of people who are very nervous. You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their text and data. Now, although these are, in fact, individual cases, there is a common theme, MO, if you will. Typically, the victim is lured into a situation where he or she is given a drink. Typically, that drink, reported by these victims, is apparently laced with something. Once that drink takes effect, perpetrators perform all kinds of sexual acts on the victims, many times passing him or her around as other people watch and enjoy the show, and then leave the victim shamed, confused, injured, and wondering what happened. When the victim reaches out, he or she is told not to say anything. Sometimes there are threats of all physical violence or financial repercussions. Bodily harm. The claims we intend to bring will include the following: violent sexual assault or rape, sexual abuse, facilitated sex with a controlled substance, false imprisonment, compelling prostitution.
Tolerated, and where justice is not the exception but the standard.
This is really real quick to those here about some specific instances without disclosing the victim's name. And you probably know that depending on the age of a victim, you can file these cases, these individual cases, under Jane Doe or John Doe. Each state is different in that respect. Typically, there is a balancing test, like public's right to know the name of the victim and plaintiff versus the confidentiality and the safety of the plaintiff. So we'll have to struggle with that with each one of these cases. Our intention, of course, is to, like we always do, file these cases under a pseudonym until the court tells us otherwise. But let me share with you a few, just kind of give you a sense of the kind of cases, the kind of instances that people are calling and reporting that we are trying to corroborate, vet. And these are the ones that we've already corroborated, vetted, and collected evidence from. One individual who was 22 years at the time, she was assaulted, said that the typical MO at one of these parties that have been widely discussed in the press was that when you were handed a drink, and now we know that the drink is laced with something, if you refused to drink it, you were kicked out of the party. And let that sink in for a minute. I mean, the admission to this party was that you had to drink the chosen drink that was handed to you. And now we know that in most cases, let's say 90% of the cases, these individuals were drugged with some sort of drug. That was kind of the MO. Another instance, this individual who was 9 years old at the time was taken to an audition in New York City with bad records. Other boys were there to audition as well. All of them were trying to land a record deal. All of them were minors. This individual was sexually abused, allegedly by Sean Combs and several other people at the studio, in the promise to both his parents and to him himself of getting a record deal. Another instance, another minor told allegedly by Sean Combs that he would make him a star, but needed to visit with him in private about it, away from His parents, once they were in a private area, allegedly Mr. Combs made the victim perform oral sex on him. Another incident, the individual 15 years old at the time, flown to New York City to attend a party, was drugged and then taken into a private room, allegedly in the presence of Mr. Combs, where this female individual minor was raped, and then other individuals took turns raping her. Another individual, 26, at the time of the occurrence, was picked up by, allegedly, by Mr. Combs and several other people in a black SUV from the airport, was given one drink in the SUV, and then literally woke up the next day not knowing what had happened, but with pain and damage to both her vagina and her anus, where she then went to the hospital. She was missing her underwear and her shoes. Another instance, individual, this time not a minor, was attended a group dinner, allegedly with Sean Combs in Miami. She wasn't drinking because she was pregnant, but whatever she drank at the table, apparently, at least according to her, was laced with something. She blacked out. She woke up in the same bed, again, allegedly, with Mr. Combs in his mansion in Miami. Her vagina and her anus were torn and sore. And I could go on. I mean, literally, you're sensing a theme here. It's the same thing. It all involves some sort of drug. One instance, an individual who was 20 years old at the time was asked to attend, just saw her on the street, asked to attend a party in a hotel. She was flattered, went to the party, was given one drink and doesn't remember anything else. Ultimately, the stove messed up, went to the hospital where they found cocaine and this horse tranquilizer in her blood system. I'll give you a quote from a very young man told us over the phone about his experience, all the things that happened to him. Says allegedly against Sean Diddy Combs and his friends in the effort to try to sign a record deal. This was kind of what he was told he would have to do. His quote is, "He not been in power, feel like I could have been something great. I quit the industry because of what Sean Combs did to me." And that's really what it comes down to. We are pursuing this, asking you to support this effort, to encourage witnesses and victims to come forward, bring your evidence, so we can continue to break down this wall of silence. We can continue to have these stories heard. This is the beginning of what I hope to be a national dialogue. This type of sexual assault, sexual abuse, sexual exploitation should never happen in the United States or anywhere else. This should have never been allowed to go on for so long. This conduct has created massive individuals who are injured, scared, and scarred. If you're one of those individuals, we ask you to reach out. If not to us, to someone you trust. If you're someone who witnessed any of these events, we ask you to reach out. Your name can remain confidential. With that, I'll take a few questions, not many, maybe two. If you have a question, I'll be pleased to try to answer.
How many minors are making accusations in total, and are the feds aware of the allegations of minors in the case?
I don't know what the feds are aware of.
Okay.
I do know it's 25 out of this 120. I will say this to that point. We welcome the FBI or any authority that wants to come to us, and we're going to make that available to these victims. So I think that's important.
Right.
My suspicion is, based on talking to these folks is that, the FBI is just not aware of these people. The FBI has talked to some of these folks. And I'm going to try to encourage the victims to, in fact, talk to the FBI because I think they have some very important things to say.
And if we're all with the children.
That was a Popcorn Planet exclusive question, folks.
Kids and employees.
Props to Marianne.
All seeking either TV or some sort of music career. It promises that they're going to make you a star instead of basically did things for themselves that they don't want. All right, guys. Thank you very much for your attention. We're going to go. Any file here? There's a few plaintiffs here, but I don't anticipate file here. Probably in New York City.
Muted.
Oh, sorry, my mic wasn't on. Kudos, thank you for saying. Yeah, Marianne got the question. We had another question that we didn't get asked. I'm seeing if she can go get them. She has a beeline. I'm trying to see if we can get her to call in one more time as we're there, since we have someone in the room, guys. Christopher Melcher is about to join us in a few minutes to give us his breakdown of things as well as our summary of things. But I'm a little shook. Did he say 24 minors there at the end?
Man, I don't
2
know.
to
That's what they're
4?
saying.
I need to
That's
hear
what they're saying in the chat. I heard 2,000 victims.
The
I'm not
audio on
sure.
this is awful. I'm going to play
Yes.
that.
He says allegedly at the hands of.
I got to boost this. So bear with me, guys. We got a lot to go. Don't go anywhere. I got to summarize with you, but I got to boost this audio because it's awful. Hold on.
This was kind of what he was told he would have to do. His quote is, "Had he not been in power, I
Better,
feel
right?
like
You guys
I
can
could
hear
have
that now?
done Something great did to me."
Okay, I
That's
want to
confirming
find
25.
when
We welcome. But I will say this. No, it's 25 out of this 120. What the feds are aware of. Okay, but I do know it's 25 out of this 120.
25
I will say
minors.
this.
Wait, what? How do you not lead with that, brother? That's a Popcorn Planet.
I don't know.
So
what
all the
feds
media,
are
if they'll
aware
even
of.
catch it up. We had Marianne ask how many kids.
I don't know what the feds are aware of. Okay, but I do know it's 25 out of this 120. But I
So
will say
maybe
this
have
to that.
somebody.
25 of
Cut
them are
that out.
minors, Lewis. We haven't heard that yet confirmed by the feds. That is a game, like that just takes us to another disgusting level that I'm just in shock. I'm in shock because they've been saying that and others have sort of been implying it, but I've been waiting for the accusation. You know what I mean, Lewis? So you got to wait for the accusation because I'm not surprised, to be honest. Sadly, it's depressing, but that's huge. 24 out of these 120 people are minors, Lewis.
I don't know what to say, man. I could I respond?
Yeah.
Listen, this press conference was massive. I wrote down some notes. I believe it's the first time we hear of people underage confirmed. I'm not sure if that was mentioned. It was all this stuff was maybe a theory, but now we heard of that. And I hope I heard wrong, but the number was 9. That's and 14 at one point. And now is when my rant's going to start. He said that this was an open secret. Everyone knew about it. I do believe that. I don't want to hear anyone in Hollywood preaching to us who this, that, or the other. Next time they go on, shove it up your butt, your opinion. And that's my PG version of saying it. And I ask everybody to please join me in that message to them. No moral standing. You all have you all are disgusting. I don't want to even promote movies anymore right now. I don't want to even talk about your dumb, poorly written movies that you've been replaced by AI to write films. And you know what? The worst part is that no one could even tell the difference between you and AI because you suck. Stop. Don't preach at us. You have no right. You have no moral high ground. People get on social media, tell us how to live our lives. Get the hell out of here. Cowards, you pick and choose what you're outraged about. Get it out of here. I believe
Louis.
everyone knew about these things.
Yeah,
man.
you
Get
are
outta
spot on.
here.
But just to reiterate, 9 years old.
Yeah, I
what he
don't want to
said.
reiterate that. I don't want to even think about it.
Well, no, I don't either. But we need to call it
Yeah.
out so we can
No,
we
I
can
know.
get it in jail or death penalty. I don't know what
And
you
it-
do.
It hurts and it's scary because we have kids and we have brothers and sisters that are that young, and we were that young, and we also know victims. It's scary as hell that maybe someone you know went through this and was too scared to come forward. That's scary. And even if you ask them, they may not even be truthful to you because they're scared to come forward, embarrassed. They don't want their life to turn into that or revisit the nightmare. Shove it up your butt, Hollywood and the music industry. Get out of here. You
I
all
don't know
knew.
what the feds
I knew. You all knew watching. Don't give me that crap. Kiss my ass, Helen.
Kim, I know you're there. I want to make a quick breaking video about the 24 minors. That's a pretty big revelation,
It's
no?
sick.
It's 25, Andy. It's 25. He
And that's
said.
we haven't heard
Oh,
that
sorry.
before, right?
No.
So I'm going to
There's a
do
lot
a
of
quick
things we haven't
breaking. So give me the 8 minutes. We're going to load that as my second video today, and then we're going to have Christopher Melcher summarize this because there's a lot to talk about, guys, including the fact that there's a numerous amount of celebrities that should be worried that he's saying, we know who you are and you know who you are. There was a lot revealed here. So just give me a second, and you can chime in on this, but I want to reiterate this question. So here we go. I'm going to record this. Guys, can you, one of you in boss level, actually, no, I'm going to record it. I'm going to do this separately. Since I don't see you, Kim, Louis, talk real quick so I can see you.
Test 1, 2. How you
Okay,
doing,
just so
everybody?
it's better than seeing the name. Here we go. Guys, there was another press conference where 120 accusers have come forward against Diddy, but the most shocking revelation is that 25 of them are minors. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor. I'm here with Louis, and Kim is there as well. But we had our own Marianne in the press conference there in Houston. And as this was all going, Kim asked the question, and I made sure it was the one we asked. Marianne asked it at the end of this press conference because he alluded to two. Tony Busby, this lawyer, I'm told a very good lawyer, very successful, very a good lawyer at this. And he mentioned a 9-year-old and a 15-year-old, guys. And it made me wonder, how many are there in total were minors? He said out of the 120, it was 60 were female, 60 were male. Here was the question Marianne asked, which you won't be able to hear it from his mics. But the question we had asked was, how many minors are making accusations in total? And are the feds
I
aware of the allegations?
Don't know what the feds are aware of, okay? But I do know it's 25 out of this 120. But I will say this to that point. We welcome the FBI or any authority who wants to come to us, and we're going to make that available to these victims because I think that's important. My suspicion is, based on talking with these folks, is that you know the FBI is just not aware of these people. The FBI has talked to some of these folks, and I'm going to try to encourage the victims to in fact talk to the FBI because I think they have some very important things to say.
Look, there's a lot more we're going to be breaking down in our recap. If you haven't, we're still probably live as this is dropping, but I'm putting this out there because I think this is imperative to hear. This is the first time we've heard it, as depressing, as heartbreaking as this is. Kim, I want to bring you in because you've been covering this with me like crazy. This is a huge drop, no? 25 minors are making accusations. What is your reaction to this?
Well, I think the first thing I just want to say is I guess we don't know what their ages are now. We know the events that went on happened when they were underage. And I really just want to say, I think the most important thing we need to think about right now, other than the justice that these incredible people deserve, is the bravery that it has taken for them to go and do this. I cannot fathom how terrifying this is and how hard this is. SA on any level is horrific. But I say as a CSA survivor myself, it is a whole unspeakably difficult thing to have to confront this, to process it, because you're not only processing it as a child, you're processing it as an adult. And now to have the whole world know that this nightmare happened to you, and then to have the bravery to go and stand before the people who did this to you. And in this case, quite bluntly, almost the system that did this to them, all of the people that knew, as they're saying that corporations knew, that groups of people knew, and they sat and they watched and they let it go on if they did not partake. There is a level of monstrosity here that the words escape me of trying to describe it. But I just really ask that everybody, we need to allow this system with these law firms and the feds to go through and get the facts of these cases. Let the right people be prosecuted. We don't know who did what yet. We don't. And I understand the rage. I understand the anger that everybody is feeling right now. But the pressure now needs to be put on the feds to look into all of these cases, not just the 120 brave individuals who are coming forward, whether they were minors or not, but the 3,000 calls this law firm says they have had. And I'm guessing probably the thousands more they're going to get with that huge number behind that man's head this entire press conference. It is time. And it doesn't matter what industry, what side of the aisle, who you are, what you've done. If you've done this, it's time. It's time for the lights to turn on. And when they all turn on, it's going to be bad. It's going to be horrific. It's going to make us all sick to our stomachs, but it's got to happen.
Well said. And I send so much love to you, Kim, for opening up and being so brave. Everything you've been through, your strength is so amazing and inspiring. I know not just to me, but to so many viewers. So I send so much love and positivity your way for being here to help shine a light on this, because you're right. We have to turn this light on. We have to expose these monsters. And yes, as Kim mentioned, that number behind 1-800-200-7474, it's now a Diddy hotline, guys. It's gotten that bad where you can call it. And they've, as Kim said, thousands of people calling in that they need to check. They have 120 currently. This is going to be 120 separate lawsuits. This is not a class action civil suit. This is multiple lawsuits that have now, he is combining efforts to show the seriousness of it. And 25 minors out of these 120 is just something I'm in shock in that I hate to think that's even possible. But it's apparently possible now. And that's what we're facing. This wasn't just people of age. This was people at that age. On top of it, and we're going to be talking about this with Christopher Melcher and more in our next recap, which will become our live. So stay tuned. Keep watching us live over there. I wanted to make sure this got there because this is important that we get this. Not a lot of media showed up for this. We had our own media there, and there were about 5 outlets covering it, all local news. And this is massive. Now, again, these are allegations. This is a suit. We're going to get more as the suits come about. But this is a massive reveal to hear these numbers. On top of it, as they said, there are people who are very nervous. He made it clear this happened at places in residences of people we know, is what he said. Meaning implying a lot of high level people. He then went on later, and I'm going to play that. We'll play it later, but of all the celebrities and people, the names that will shock you, that egged it on, willing participants that sit there and encouraged and made no effort to stop it. That's what we're currently facing. And then Lewis, I want to get your thoughts because you've been chiming in as we've watched just how disgusting Hollywood has gotten this point. We knew Weinstein was bad, and he is. I'm not trying to find it, but I feel like this Diddy level is taking it to a whole new level. What is your response to Hollywood and all that new about this?
Well, it's the music industry, and they're intertwined with Hollywood because Hollywood uses their music to put on the films, and that's how they're connected. Plus, if you start to study, this is all monopoly. The movie studios co-own record labels, and it's all linked. It's all linked. It's a monopoly and stuff like that. And it's one of those times, like, usually when you say, I've said something for so many years and you want to feel proud of it. I've said it for a long time here on Popcorn Planet. Movie industry, movie industry had their Weinstein. That's peanuts compared to what's going on with the music industry. Now, I want the main thing in this video to stand out is Kim's testimony and her thoughts. Yes. That's the main thing right here. We're all connected and stuff. So, Kim, thank you for coming on in here and expressing your ideas. I know that was very difficult for you. You're a very sweet person, and I don't know. I'm with you. So
we support
you guys
fully.
For giving me. Thank you for giving me a voice, and thank you for sticking up for these people because we deserve better than what we get.
Exactly.
And you're absolutely right. We need to look into this. That's why I wanted to spotlight this. This has gotten to a whole new level. We knew how serious this case was, but this is the first time I've seen a real lawyer come forward with now 25 allegations ranging from 19 to 15. This just got even more horrific than we thought. There had been rumors, but now we will see. In the coming 30 days, more of these lawsuits will be coming forward. Make sure if you're watching live or on the replay, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for all alerts, smash that like button. We will be keeping you posted on all of them to ensure we stay on this. We ensure that this gets heard, this gets seen. Make sure to subscribe to my man Lewis. Make sure to subscribe to It's Kim. Support us all. We'll be tracking this for you, and we are not stopping our live. We are still going. I'm just trimming this to get that most important part out to the masses. So please check it out. Click the videos. Keep watching. I appreciate you all. Now we're still live, guys. Kim, if you want to chime in on it, thank you for speaking up. But I don't know what else you wanted to mention. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but thank you for being so brave. But as I'm uploading that, because I want to get that video up, because I think that was the biggest takeaway. Melcher's going to join us in a few to talk about sort of the ramifications of all this and what this means. So don't go anywhere, everybody. But while I'm uploading, Kim, thoughts or anything you want to add?
I think it's very overwhelming. I know there's going to be concern in the chat separate from this. I was in the hospital last night. And some of that stems back to the disorder I have due to what happened to me. This is something that I live with on a daily basis, as do every survivor, it never leaves. And it affects us in so many ways, more than just mental. And to think that it is only in our heads, that we don't have any other type of physical issues or long-standing issues, is just ridiculous. It's really, really a lot more than people think it is. And I have already seen reactions in my own family as they have heard of this, and there's been tears and there's been anger. And I'm sure there's a lot of that in the people that are watching today. And I think that that's a good thing in some ways, because we've still have our humanity. As my sister said, we've still got it, and we've got to stick up for each other, and we've really got to put the pressure on the feds that it doesn't matter who these people are. It doesn't matter if they're higher up the chain of authority than they are. It's time.
And
it's time.
And excuse me, Kim, but this is not a popular idea that I'm gonna say, but there's more of us than them. There's way more good people. We just need to elevate each other's voice and share and fight the suppression of news. There's way more of us. There's way more good people on earth. We just keep shining the light on the garbage, right? Like,
yeah,
the Diddies. So they're outnumbered 1,000,000 to 1. I'm 100% sure of that. But it's up to us to become proactive and take a stand and do something about it, not just sit there and complain. And I think in a way we're doing that here on Popcorn Planet in our small channels. And Kim coming on in here and sharing what happened to her, the truth, right? What's happening to her sheds a light, and that every little helps. You know what I mean?
Yep. 100%. I'm reminded, I don't know how many of you guys followed the Ruby Frankie case. And as that went on, there was a lot that went on to certain lawsuits that happened with the Boy Scouts. Because one of the people that was involved in the Ruby Frankie case was involved in essentially what I would consider, in my opinion, to be torture of one of the people who was a whistleblower of that whole situation. And as all of that came to light, the gentleman spoke so bravely about the situation and talked about how when there is validation, when people are believed, when these things come out, that it is healing to these people. We can't fix what happened, but acknowledging it and having people be accountable for it, it allows for things to move forward for so many. And that's what I really want to see for these people, for all 120 of them that are brave enough to do this, that they've been able to say they're going to move forward. And I'm sure the thousands more that potentially they may represent. And I hope that this is something that we see resources get pulled together for these people, for their protection, for their mental health, for their, all of those types of things. Because it's tough. It's really hard. And it takes specialized help And it takes a village for one person. I can only imagine how much is going to be needed to help these people. Because I cannot comprehend the amount of fear these people probably have.
It's insane.
Well said.
I mean, I said the other day with when Kim and I were doing our standalone is to a certain extent we're scared to cover this. I mean it's good to see that strength in numbers, but I could just imagine the victims that were in ground zero, like doing it alone. Now we're coming on in here. There's thousands of people on our side. We could speak our mind and investigate fairly. These are all allegations until they're go to court, of course, but it doesn't look good. And look, ultimately, I prefer this all be fake because I don't want the victims to be there. I don't want to cover this. I want to cover other stuff, but this is what we have to cover, so to get the word out.
Yeah, no, thank you for filling in. I'm just trying to, this is an important piece of it. I want to make sure I'm getting this out there as we're still live. So thank you for bearing with me, guys, as I get this almost uploaded. But it's hard to, exactly like you said, it's hard to talk about this type of stuff. YouTube doesn't let us, you know what I mean? Like we can't. So we try our best, but this is the most important stuff to report on because this takes it to a whole more sinister place. I don't even know what do I call this video? I don't even know. I'm trying, guys. I'll need your support to get it out there because it's important people realize that it's come to this because this isn't just, certain kind of workers, which a lot of people, I've seen it in the comments. Kim, I know you have too. A lot of people in the comments are like, oh, whatever. They knew what they were getting into. Oh, stop. Who cares what they knew what kind of party it was. Right. That's
You're going to tell me a 9-year-old knew what they were getting into?
Yeah.
Well, that's my point. Now you can't make that argument the same. You know what I mean? You can't.
But go jump off a cliff. I can't handle this.
Yeah,
if that is your mentality, like I cannot. Like
no,
honestly,
I'm saying they were saying that about the workers. That at that point we didn't know the age, and I think now we know the ages. You can't make that argument anymore because hello, exactly like you just said, Kim.
It does, and the thing is too. Yeah, you know what? If you have an adult worker, it's a job. It's a job, and people do the job because there is a demand for the job. Okay? And if people show up to work and then they become incapacitated, not of their own choice, they no longer are consenting to working. These are still people. When you talk like that, all you're doing is dehumanizing people. And frankly, that's disgusting.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy also to think that you went in there because you got someone that could probably elevate your rap or singing career, and you got horse tranquilizers and other things in your system instead. I don't think that's what they were after or they were seeking or they agreed to. Get out of here, people.
I do want to say, mods in the chat, I have thrown something in our Telegram room. It's a document. And I'd really appreciate it if you guys could share that right now. I can't do it because I've got Zoom going and everything. We've got a document we put together as a community. Linda really helped out a lot with this. Much love to her as well.
Yes, thank you.
And it is a document that has international resources for helplines and things of that nature. There is no shame if you need that right now. This is incredibly triggering and is going to be incredibly painful for so many people, and that is okay. It's okay for you to get help. And no shame in that. I've called the numbers. I've done it many times. You are in good company of people that may need to do that. So please do not punish yourself. You deserve help. Just like these people deserve help, you deserve help. Everybody. Okay?
Well said. Thank you for
incredibly
I'm
hard.
glad you remembered that. I wanted to make sure we got that out as well. And so thank you. We'll be pasting that link. I'm back in 1 second, guys. I want to make sure I hope you will understand. I want to get this video out because this is the first time we've heard it this serious. Like, not to say this wasn't serious, but to know that there's now kids, this is bad.
I feel like that's something we should all be able to agree on.
Yeah, there's no,
You know what I mean?
now there's
We live
no
in a
like,
very
oh, well, they
divided
asked for
time.
it type of argument.
Yeah. We live in a very divided time right now. If we all can't agree that this against kids is not okay, I give up.
Well, it's a pretty divisive world we live in right now. But yes, I think that is the one thing both sides are supposed to agree on for sure.
Yeah. It's, oh, my goodness. My goodness. And please be kind to each other in the chat, guys.
So I'm going to ask you one favor before we then get Melcher to join us and do this the proper way. I'm going to be uploading this now. If you get, we're gonna do a little test. I know we still got a lot of you guys watching, and I appreciate you. This is going to be a test to make sure you're getting your alerts. So I want to test it since we have, you know, what is this? 9,000 people you watching. Here's what we can do to ensure you're getting updated. Follow this because I'm about to make a video, and you should get it. Go hit that the bell. Go hit all. Smash that like button. You're going to leave a comment as well. When you get the alert, if you just click that bell and you click the alerts, you're about to get an alert from this video. So go subscribe, hit the bell, go do it real quick. I'm about to make this video go live. While you're watching, I know you're here live already. While you're watching live, please, if you get that alert, get this video out. It's imperative we get the word out on this one because what's happening here is horrific. And there's a lot of people who are, you know Diddy's bad and know things are going wrong, but the level of bad has now jumped to a place that we need to make sure this is getting elevated because not enough news outlets are covering this. So please, while we're live, we're going to continue to recap. I'm going to go through some things. We're bringing Christopher Melcher in, so the live's not over. But while we're live, if you can put this in a tab or watch at the same time, please do. It just went public. You should be getting alerts. Let me know in the chat if you get your alert. When you get that alert, click it, watch it, spread the video, share it if you can. And we are going to now get Christopher in, do our recap. Okay, that is live, that is up. Thank you for being with me and being patient and understanding. Okay, there's a lot to break down. It's part of the reason I didn't post a video today because I just had a sneaking suspicion something was going to come out of this that was important to make sure we posted, and we just did. So get that video out. Thank you for watching and being part of the crew and the notification squad. Do it also to my pals. It's Kim. She's in the link tree. Also, if you go to our pinned comment, you can support It's Kim and Lewis. Say hi. Show your beautiful face.
Hey, how you doing, everyone?
There he is. Go support Lewis at Nerd Report as well. Steph as well. Support the team. People are getting the alerts. Awesome. The way these videos work, honestly, channels live or die based on your alerts. If you, as a subscriber, are getting alerts and you ignore them, well, then YouTube ignores our videos. So most of the time, we appreciate if you get those alerts, just click them if you can, watch them in the background, whatever you can do. But this video specifically, I want to make sure we get it out there to the loudest audience as possible because we're live and a lot of you aren't going to be able to click right away. Sorry to make you do that, but I think it's important. I think we all agree to spread the word out on these hotlines and everything else. So thank you for bearing with me. So guys, all right, now that that's out and we can focus on the move, let me make sure Christopher has the link. I want to bring Christopher in. I was checking to see if Marianne got any other updates for us because she was there. Any other update?
Andy, I am going to have to go.
Okay, go do your thing. Thank you for calling in. I didn't expect you to.
Thank you. Much love to all of you.
We love you,
so
Kim.
much.
See you soon.
Love you too. Bye, guys.
See you soon. Thank you much. Kim is the best. Even when she's not feeling it, she steps in and helps when she can. I know this is important for her to go support her over there, and Lewis as well. So thank you for bearing with me. There's a couple as I'm in producer mode while I'm live. This is part of the live excitement. Trying to make sure Christopher's ready, making sure our reporter on the inside there, she was trying to get access to the lawyer, so we're still waiting, but it seems like he went and ran away pretty quickly after the press conference. But we will let you know if that changes. Let me get the invite to Christopher so he can pop in when he's available because I'd love to get his insight because I got some questions too about sort of the process of doing it this way with the 120 separate lawsuits, the civil suits, etc. So we are going to see what he says. Link is sent. Okay, so when he pops in, we'll do our recap for the day. But Lewis, the biggest shocker to me, and I actually want to find that clip. So bear with me, guys.
In New York and California and other states, that it's very difficult.
Does the transcript go up
for
immediately?
A victim to come forward.
Oh, it does. God, this is the coolest feature of YouTube right now.
Many of these people are coming forward because they see other victims coming forward, and it gives them some comfort.
This feature
that, hey,
helps so much.
And I
you can
expect
find
more victims will come forward. Here there are a myriad of people. Here there are a myriad of people who are very nervous. You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. These people who know who they are, any individual or entity who knew about the content, any venue or venue owner who was aware of what was going on but failed to stop it, any individual or entity who knew about the conduct and benefited from it but did nothing to report it or stop it, and any individual or entity who covered it up or helped cover it up. These people who know who they are should just come forward now.
I would imagine, as we speak here, there are a myriad of people who are very nervous. You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data. Now, although these are, in fact, individual cases, there is a common theme, an MO, if you will. Typically, the victim is lured into a situation where he or she is given a drink. Typically, that drink, reported by these victims, is apparently laced with something. Once that drink takes effect, the perpetrators perform all kinds of sexual acts on the victims, many times passing him or her around as other people watch and enjoy the show, and then leave the victim ashamed, confused, injured, and wondering what happened. When the victim reaches out, he or she is told not to say anything. Sometimes there are threats of physical violence or financial repercussions. All kinds of sexual acts on the victims, many times passing him or her.
Oh my gosh, we are so lucky. Look, wait a second. Steph, I thought I hate you. I thought you hate me. What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. The rumors are we hate each other and you don't talk to me anymore.
Reaches out.
How dare you break the narrative, Steph?
I know, right? How dare I break so many people's fantasies that were at each other's throats? What the hell?
Where's Steph? Where's Steph? What happened? Oh my Steph,
God!
I thought I hate you. I thought you hate me. Wait, whose audio is playing? Is that mine? Steph, is this your
Sorry,
first
it was mine.
YouTube
I've
stream?
sorted it.
Jesus.
Sorry.
No wonder I kicked you. No, I'm good. Wait.
Piss off, you cowbag.
Steph, welcome to the show. Always welcome. Steph's doing her own thing from time to time, and I love it. Support her always. We love Steph.
How dare she?
I know. My God, she has sometimes other things she focuses on, like her man and her channel, and I wish her the best, and she's always here. Steph, honored to have you back. This is a pretty tough topic for you, I know. If you've been watching, did you have a thought? You don't jump in usually unless you got a thought. I know you got a thought on this.
Yeah, so I am sadly not surprised at the amount of, we're going to have to say alleged here, survivors that are going against Diddy. I mean, prolifically, he has done this for like decades. If anything, I'm shocked that there's not more, but I think there will be. And I really do think that a lot of celebrities associated that have gone to his parties, this, that, and the other, or they're quaking in their boots right now. I'm going to send you a couple of links. I don't think you've seen it, but apparently Ashton Kutcher is terrified of all of this. Terrified that Diddy could actually make up false allegations about him, his celebrity friends.
Or they could be real. They could be real. Or he could be telling the truth. Ashton Kutcher, I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him at this point.
I wouldn't either. And based on this press conference, I think it's in a I don't think that the timing actually is coincidental. I think this was done on purpose because this has just happened hours after it was announced that Diddy is making yet another bid to try and get bail ahead of his trial.
Yep.
And so I think then that this press conference has now been put together in response to that to try and stop his next attempt, to try and get bail to be refused again. And quite frankly, I can't see how Diddy could actually be granted bail in the first place. He has the resources and the money to allegedly escape the country and try and evade potential justice. So I think it's quite right that he is behind bars at the moment whilst he's awaiting trial. Again, always innocent until proven guilty, but the optics on this right now does not look good.
No. I mean, there's a lot of bad optics. I'm trying to find the clip because I did a video on it. I mean, I have my video, which is placed, I hate to play my face again, but it's like you bring up Ashton, and if you guys missed this video, sorry.
Hey! Oh my gosh, this is so wrong!
They did this whole buildup of Ashton and Diddy as the bad boys of Hollywood, the Brat Pack, etc., and the sexiest guys, and who's going to win Best Villain? A 13-year-old, 14-year-old girl wins, the girl from The Ring. And they do it, and then look at this clip.
I won the MTV Movie Award!
Sorry, it's too loud. Hold on, I know. Sorry, because I upped the audio. Tell me if this is too loud.
That's a little girl from The Ring?
Did you catch that? You coming to the after party tonight?
Yeah.
Yo, and look at the way he does it. He just comes in with the drink. You coming to the after party, yo? Yeah, and Ashton's in there in the background. Like, I share that as you bring up them because 100%. That clip was so disturbing to me. I just was like, there's a level of just disgustingness exuding from this man, and just a attitude that he can do anything. You know what I mean, Steph? So there's no shock to me. I'm just sad because I try to think it can't be that bad. You know what I mean? But now 25 minors are in this 120 people. That's a lot. And it's the first time we've been confirmed that it's minors. And to see now these clips that are surfaced, talk about the Bieber clips. My God, talk about depressing those clips with Diddy and Bieber, and Usher, who admits to Diddy flavor camp when he was also a teen. We saw this coming. We knew. I think a lot of us hoped we would be wrong, but it's horrifying to hear it. And now to see out of 120 people, which I agree, it's probably going to get into more. To see that out of those 120, 25 of them were under the age. That's a hard thing to swallow. No.
It is. Am I surprised? No. But I'm deeply saddened and upset and feel a lot of empathy, particularly towards again, and we've got to be legal here, the alleged survivors underage. Because of, as I've always been honest publicly with what's happened to me. It's absolutely horrific. And the problem is that each and every survivor that's coming forward is, to me, putting a nail in the coffin of Diddy, because they are, through their testimony, proving a pattern with Diddy. And generally with these cases, if you can prove that there's a pattern, that, to me, in my knowledge and my expertise with all of this, with my own personal situation, is the best way to try and nail these monsters in the first place. It really is. And I think that in terms of this Diddy trial, I think this is going to be bigger than Harvey Weinstein because of the sheer amount of alleged survivors that are coming forward, but also as well the sheer amount of celebrities that are allegedly involved and just even linked to Diddy. I mean, my goodness, if you are somehow linked to Diddy, even on an innocent basis, that completely gets worldwide news. It's all over the headlines. We all know a couple of months back, Lil Rod launched a lawsuit against Diddy, simply named Prince Hazza as one of the names that Diddy would use to try and entice people to his parties, something along those lines. Now, there's no evidence that Hazza, just being named, did any wrongdoing or anything illegal, but Hazza just being named made worldwide headlines. So anyone that is named, anyone that is associated with Diddy, from a celebrity famous perspective, they must be quaking in their boots right now, whether they're innocent or not. This is why I'm saying I think this is going to be much, much bigger than the Harvey Weinstein trial because of the sheer amount of alleged survivors involved and the sheer amount of celebrities either linked innocently or not, or the celebrities that were involved, whether that again was innocently or not. And I think it's just going to turn into a witch hunt publicly and in the media as to which of the celebrities were doing, let's say, illegal things at the parties and which celebrities were not.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. And I'm going to play that clip. In fact, look who's also joined us. Mr. Melcher, are you there?
Yeah.
There he is, Christopher Melcher. All right, so Steph and Lewis, let me do if you can hang for a minute. I'm going to do my recap with him because I want to get his thoughts. Welcome. Did you get a chance to see this yet or no? I mean, you got a gist of it?
I didn't watch the presser. I just read the news.
But you got the gist. Okay, cool. Yeah, because I'm going to do a quick recap with you, but I'd want to get your thoughts. And I want to cue one clip as you're here because Steph, you just cued it too. The celebrities. Here it is. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Bear with me.
Who did, in fact, seek medical treatment, were drug tested.
Lower up these volumes.
Drugs were found in their system. Weird drugs. Drugs that you probably never heard of. One.
Can you guys hear that okay? Let me boost it a little bit more. Hold on.
Is a drug called xylazine or trank, which, based on our research, is known as a horse tranquilizer. Now, there's been a lot of reports that we're filing a class action. This is not a class action. Class action is when one or two people file or names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. And I'm talking, indeed, other perpetrators will shock you. Confirm. But the names, damn sure that we're right before we do that. Today. The day will come, but it won't be today.
Okay, that's the part I want to play. There's a part here where he talks about the celebrities that are coming. We're going to cue that in. Okay, so Christopher's there. Let me make sure your lower third is good. Apologies, guys, for the live producing, but that's how it works. This will be our recap from our live. Christopher Melcher. Okay, great. Awesome. Here we go. 3. Lewis or Steph, anybody who has got a boss level nearby, can you put in the chat 157.44 for me? Whoever gets there first wins. Thank you both. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. A shocking press conference just happened where over 120 accusers have joined forces against Diddy. We have Christopher Melcher here to break it down. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor. Steph, Lewis, Kim, we're all here, but we're all excited because now Christopher Melcher's in the building. Welcome back, sir. How you doing?
Pretty good. Glad to be here.
This is a tough one, man. I'm glad you're here. I know you got to read about it. You didn't watch it directly, but I want to share a quick portion just so people can get the gist of it. Overall, though, Christopher, it was 120 accusers that this Busby law firm is mentioning. And you had told me this, but Busby Law Firm's a legit firm, has done a lot of successful cases over the years, and he seems to be taking this quite seriously, so much so, in fact, there's now a Diddy hotline. You can see it behind him up there in the big red letters for anybody who's wants to call in. Apparently, they've already gotten thousands of calls they're trying to get through, but right now 120 cases they'll be filing separately over the next 30 days. And horrific stuff they sort of alluded to. Obviously, we'll get those details as those cases come forward. But Christopher, before we even get your thoughts, I want to share this bit because this was pretty shocking. Also shocking, we just made a video. 25 of those 125 were minors. This is the first time we've heard that where it's not all adults. We'll come to that in a second. But first, let's talk about this here in this video.
The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. And I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are. I call them the facilitators of foul play, willing participants in vile conduct. As we identify them, each will be part of this case as defendants. These defendants will not only include individuals, but would also include corporate entities who ultimately profited off of this culture and behavior. I'm looking at banks, pharmaceutical companies, hotels. We know that many of these individuals were paid cash. We know that many of these individuals involved, whether they were the ones being assaulted and abused or they're witnessing, anyone who was in the room and watched it happen but made no effort to stop it, any venue or venue owner who was aware of what was going on but failed to stop it, any individual or entity who knew about the conduct and benefited from it but did nothing to report it or stop it, and any individual or entity who covered it up or helped cover it up. These people who know who they are should just come forward now. I would imagine, as we speak here, there are a myriad of people who are very nervous. You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data. Now, although these are, in fact, individual cases, there is a common theme.
He goes in, there's a lot more, the theme being that he would bring them in with drinks, lace those drinks. If you didn't drink said drinks, you were kicked out of the party. Once they took the drink and sort of passed out, they had their way with these people. And that's the theme that was happening ongoing. But so Christopher, I want to get your reactions, but I was taken by that part where he's really calling it out there and putting it out. Like, we've all suspected that there's a lot of celebrities and people that are nervous. He's saying, oh, we know who you are. Don't worry. We're getting there. We're coming to you. You better come forward now. What is your reaction? What do you think of that sort of way he's doing it?
Well, sure. So first of all, Tony Busby is a serious lawyer, and he's a very skilled trial attorney. So this is, not one of these kind of ambulance chasing lawyers. This guy's the real deal in terms of being able to persuade a jury. He's also been very successful financially. And you could see videos about him. I'm not really a big fan of how ostentatious, his lifestyle is, because that always makes me wonder about a lawyer not, having that much money. But this guy has a large lifestyle. Now, the thing is, this is not a criminal case. It's a civil case that he would be bringing, 120 separate civil actions. Some people have talked earlier about, oh, it's a class action. No, it's not a class action. That involves, like say there's a plane crash and a whole bunch of people die in one incident, or they're injured by a product, let's say. So there are certain cases where there's a bunch of victims injured in one incident could potentially have that class certified and it's one lawsuit. This is not like that. Even though there's this common theme that he's alleging, each individual plaintiff would have to file their case, 120 different cases. Now, it's not criminal, it's civil. That is a huge difference to keep in mind. On the indictment, right now, we only see Diddy indicted, meaning he's the only defendant that we know about that's criminally charged. There could be other criminal charges out there already that we do not know about or we haven't connected. I would cite to Matthew Perry, those of us who followed that case, we know when those indictments dropped against various folks involved in that, there had previously been a indictment against the ketamine queen, but it wasn't relatable to Matthew Perry. Okay. So there could already be some cases out there against people that are pending, but we just haven't connected them up to it, or they might charge those other folks later in the criminal case. On a civil, the standard is much lower. Being present while a crime is being committed and failing to intervene is not a crime unless you have a duty to intervene. People who have a duty to intervene would be like a police officer, mandatory reporter would have to report it. But generally speaking, as horrible as it sounds, like we can watch a crime happen, do nothing and not report it, and it's generally not a crime. And that's significant because if people were watching and not participating or facilitating, it's not a crime. Horrible, not a crime. But in a civil case, the standard's lower. And so those folks who maybe watched but didn't participate or facilitate could be dragged in. Now, Busby was trying to make that distinction, saying, hey, I'm not just going after people who were in the room. Somebody would have had to have done something. But then he kind of broadens it to saying like, well, hey, if it was in the hotel, I'm going to sue the hotel too. Okay, did the hotel really know what was going on? Maybe they did. So he's going to sue the pants off of everybody. And one of the reasons why, and we've been thinking about this is, Diddy's a wealthy guy and he has, catalog and assets and ongoing streams of income. But I got to think he is moving those assets out of his hands, and he's been working on that for quite some time because he knows this is coming down on him. So family members, other companies, this money is being out. And by the time these cases would ever go forward to a trial, which generally would have to be after the criminal case is over. So we're talking maybe it could be on hold for a couple years. By the time they would actually go to trial and get a verdict against Diddy, Diddy may have nothing. And so they're going to have to then enforce that and try and find his assets along with the other couple hundred people that are going to be going after him for the same money. So that's why he's going to expand this to saying, well, if it happened in a hotel, I'm going to sue the hotel. If drugs were provided, I'm going to go after whoever provided those drugs. Whoever else facilitated, I'm going to go after them. And then there may be a shakedown element to it saying, well, hey, if some celeb happened to be walking by or being in the room, he's going to sue them too.
So should they be nervous? Is this something in a civil case that actually could cause them damage? And I guess the other question I have is, if you're repping a celebrity, is it better to come forward at this point if you know you might be complicit in one of these things? Or is this, you don't want to call his bluff and you want to sort of wait until you know they have you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, this is very difficult. So sure, anyone should be nervous. Even a false allegation against you could be extraordinarily damaging. And we all know from following these stories, people read the headlines. They don't necessarily read the stories. Allegations that are made kind of stick and are very difficult to undo later on. So yes, people should be nervous about getting caught up in this horrible web. Now, if somebody's in the crosshairs, they're probably going to get a demand letter. And so what'll happen is that plaintiff's attorney, Busby in this case, would probably send a letter to that person saying, here are our concerns. This is the information that those concerns are based upon, and, kind of work with us or we're going to sue you. And then the celeb's going to have a decision to make at that point because they know it's going to happen. And the classic advice is say nothing and let it work out in the court. But more people are now pivoting towards getting in front of the story and probably coming out there and making a statement and saying, yes, I went to a Diddy party, but these things didn't happen in my presence. And I got to caution people to think about the difference between a Diddy party that he's famously known for giving with lots of celebrities
white party.
there.
Yeah, exactly. There's tiers to the party, it seems.
Well, exactly. The freak off, and I know the freak offs were allegedly recorded for his own sick purposes. But the white party or something like that, you have lots of people in attendance, lots of people with cameras recording this. If freak offs were happening during a white party, we would have all seen video of that by now. So there's a difference. There's got to be a difference between the regular party and the freak off. So whether celebs got involved in the freak off, I have no idea. But if they were there, they're gonna really pay the price for this, at least reputationally, because again, it may not have been a crime, it may not even be anything civilly that they could be properly held accountable for, but just morally being present. Unless they have a reputation as a party goer and abusive type person, if they're like a normal kind of reputation, it is going to be extraordinarily damaging. And if one of them is going to get caught up on it, they're going to be best served by getting in front of it and saying, yeah, I was there. This is what happened. I'm embarrassed by what happened. Here's what I'm doing to kind of rectify this, kind of acknowledge the harm that was caused, blah, blah, blah. Standard apology should be issued.
Well, and then the other question of just the fact that now there's minors involved, we have to be careful how we say it. But now that with the minors in this, we asked the question, do the feds know? And he says he doesn't think they know of everything, but obviously he's going to make sure that they have access to anybody. That does change this case, no? I mean, there's also talk about it going global. They're now putting people out in the UK and other areas in London, for example, where he partied a lot. International, minors involved, that takes us like 10 steps up, no?
Oh, of course. And I got to think there's going to be sharing of information, and it's usually a one-way street from the plaintiffs to the prosecutors in what could be these other jurisdictions. So, that just brings it to an even sadder level if that's what's going on. We'll also have to watch out for the risk of the pile-on effect. So, when allegations are made that are based in truth by certain victims, then of course everyone else, who who wants a payday could potentially jump onto that and say, yeah, that happened to me also. So there's, that'll have to be difficult. And Busby, I mean, like I say, he's a very smart and experienced lawyer, and he mentioned about having investigators. He does need to test these things, because if he brings in one claim that is false, that's going to taint all the other claims that he's bringing. So
yeah, I was going to ask that
his
because
own
it's a
sake.
lot, right? It's not good to just have a number and just fill them all in, which some might say has happened in other cases. In this, you ought to be careful, because exactly, if you have one bad apple in that batch, then it sort of sours out all of them, no?
It absolutely does, and that's something. If I were one of the 120, clients, that I would be very concerned about. And what we've seen, because I'm in this world, is that when victims are selected because they're victims, and I hate to say that, but it's a predator-prey kind of relationship. And if Diddy did these things, he's a predator, and he would identify people who he can take advantage of, people who are weak, people who are not going to be believed. And so these people who have now been victimized by him can make a terrible witness, because maybe they have stuff in their background that, kind of is a little bit rough, and maybe convictions, or they've had other problems. Okay. And again, that's why they were potentially selected by him. And now when they're coming in, making their case, are they really going to be believed? And are people going to, and that's why people were quiet for a long time, and people who made allegations, look at Cassie. I mean, he came out and said she was looking for a payday. So there's going to be a problem. And if I were one of the 120, I would want to know, like, hey, Busby, make sure you don't have people in here that are making claims that are doing so falsely, because it is going to impact my credibility and my claim.
Yeah, so we shall see. So up the next steps, I mean, this is clearly not good for Diddy. He must be sweating off this. His lawyer can't be loving this either. This is going to make the case for him tremendously difficult and more expensive, I imagine, to cover this.
Well, sure. I mean, how do they pick a jury? They're going to pick a jury, and they're going to be jury selection. Who hasn't heard about this story at this point? And so that's going to be difficult in jury selection to say, hey, have you formed any opinions about this? And there are people out there that don't know. They don't follow the news, they don't watch anything, and maybe those will be the jurors. But I think that this level of scrutiny now, 120 people and growing, and now you're, internationally potentially, there's going to be a lot of people who know about this. It's going to be difficult to serve on a jury.
Well, I think you would attest, this is only getting started. There's probably even more that are going to come forward through this hotline and elsewhere. If this man's doing it to this many people, chances are there's probably a lot more in his wake that are starting to come forward. Do you disagree?
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, it's kind of hard to think about these numbers, but I guess if he's doing it for so long and there's multiple participants in each freak off, I'm just kind of going through my head thinking, how do we get to 120? But I guess
it is a lot.
Yeah,
scary.
It's a lot of
and to feel and to hear now that men, women, and minors is really disturbing and horrific to hear, and takes us to a whole nother thing. So we will keep you posted. Make sure if you haven't already, you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for alerts. Make sure you're part of the squad. You should have just gotten an alert right now for other videos. So when you get those alerts, hit the like, leave a comment. Make sure to support Mr. Melcher, as well as the whole crew who's here. We're going to talk to them live. If you're still watching, don't go anywhere. Make sure to support that. You can't see their faces for some weird reason. Support Steph is back.
Make sure you follow me too here on YouTube. Thanks for watching on YouTube. I'm going to end this stream and come over to Twitch or Kick.